I just blocked somebody over Twitter, and saying, "How dare you print a new ADA out of thin air? You're a horrible human being." And then he hashtags the SEC and then all these other things. So I got a rule: if you say you're going to sue me, or you say you're going to report me to law enforcement or crime or some regulatory body, I will block you, never talk to you ever, and there's nothing you could ever say to get off of my shit list. You're on my shit list forever and ever and ever and ever. 35 years from now, you could be sinking in quicksand. I'll let you sink through. Okay? That's just how that is. The amount of misinformation, FUD, and just pathetic stuff that I've seen in the last 48 hours coming out of this is extraordinary to me. And just shame on the people who are peddling it. It's stupidity beyond belief. We said, hey, we have this network we launched back in December. And basically, a lot of people showed up and turned it from an experiment to a real cryptocurrency. Now, it's real because it is decentralized. It's run by a very diverse group of actors. It's a full peer-to-peer system, and it's just running. And at any time, any one of those groups of people, a subgroup of them, could just make the decision to keep it running and keep it going indefinitely if they wanted to. Okay, I don't decide that. It's there, it's running. That's what it is. Now, it no longer is coupled or connected to what we're trying to do with Cardano. There's a social contract about the existence of the ITN that is coming to an end. It's ended on the 19th. And we as a community have to decide, is it in our best interest to keep incentivizing the group of people who keep this network alive because perhaps they can provide value to us in the future somehow, some way. And we can think about it as a community, at least until the hard fork occurs. And if we can't come up with anything, okay. If we can, okay. That was the whole point. Somehow that got transformed into, we're creating a new coin. It's going to split the value of ADA between two things, and it's a wealth transfer to IOHK. Seriously, if this is what you believe, you're an idiot. Just a pure, undiluted idiot. Get out of crypto. Just get out of crypto and have some goddamn respect. It's so frustrating and annoying. You can say 7 different ways the same thing, and no matter what you say, people just hear what they want to hear. We created something with the ITN, and a whole bunch of people showed up and turned it into something else. And we as a community have to make a decision. Is that of value to us? And how does that work? So that's a question. You might have all kinds of opinions like, no, it's of no value to us. Or yes, it's so valuable that I'll give you my left hand for it, and everything in between. Okay? And it's okay to disagree. It's okay to have any opinion you want. That's the point of a democratic process. But then to say, well, because I disagree with you, or whoever's presenting what, you are so bad that you've now become a criminal, is just extraordinary to me. And it just shows the childishness of some people in this industry, in this space. Shame on you. Shame. We have no place for this, none whatsoever. So anyway, that was my morning. I tried to calm everybody down with a video, and maybe that doesn't work. And, so I just be more direct and more blunt with people. The stake pool operators are definitely, the vast majority of them, interested in the prospect of finding something else to do with the ITN. They left their pools on and are right now keeping the chain alive for no money. Okay? That was their decision, not our decision. They're just running at a loss right now. And we'll prepare a hard fork and a vote system, and then people who hold data can make a decision what they want to do, whether they want to extend the social contract to include an additional month of compensation for that group of small business owners so that we can find something for them to do, or they don't want to do that. It's a vote, and people get to vote. Okay? And we'll see what happens. And if it's A or B, it doesn't matter to me. I say, okay, it is what it is, and we all move on. Now, no matter how that vote turns out, a subgroup of those stake pool operators could wake up the next day and say, well, fuck it, we're just going to fork it ourselves and change the monetary policy ourselves and create our own coin, call it Cardano Classic. I can't stop them. Understand that. I can't. They can go and do that any day they want, any day of the week. That's the point of decentralization. So we as a community have to understand that that's where we're at. There is no top-down control here. I don't sit in an ivory tower and make decisions for people. The community makes these decisions now, okay? That's why I made my videos on propaganda. It's why I've been talking about politics. It's why I've been talking about power to the edges. It's why I went around the whole world, the 52 countries, presentation after presentation after presentation after presentation, saying, think for yourself and you're soon going to be in charge. And for some people, they're just so insular, they can't get there. And they start thinking, oh, well, that's great. I agree. I love the philosophy. So you're going to do X, right? And I said, well, even if I wanted to, I can't. That's the point of this, is that it's truly a decentralized ecosystem. And look, I can have an opinion. I can try to influence people. I can try to tell them A or B or X or Y or left or right. And maybe they listen to me, maybe they don't. But if they don't, they're just going to do their own thing. And understand that sometimes their own thing is not necessarily the thing you want to have happen. It's not necessarily the thing that's in your financial best interest. And that's the way the world works. Welcome to diversity. Welcome to differences of opinion. Welcome to democratic processes. Welcome to being part of something that is more than 5 people. That's just how the world works. So yeah, I mean, I know we'll get there. We will. It's just a bit of a shock for people. When you leave the cradle, they have some difficulty with it. And as long as people are civil, I'll be civil. As long as people, treat me with some modicum of respect, I'll treat them back with respect. There are thresholds I have. If you cross those thresholds, you're on my shit list for the rest of your life. But outside of that, overall, things are working pretty well. I'm just perplexed by some of the beliefs that people have. And no matter what we say or we show, they don't seem to actually change their beliefs. They've just dug in and they're going for it. So much so that they're creating threads here and tweets here and so forth. You have to deal with these. And, it's the next step in the evolution of Cardano. We fully knew that this was happening. I remember when we started Ethereum way back in the day, everybody was friends at that beach house in Miami. And then money got involved, and then it became Lord of the Flies. And then all of a sudden it was a race for who could get control over those funds and push them in whatever direction that they wanted for power and control. And, certain sides won. And then they, for a while, went in a certain direction, and they went to a different direction. And then everybody was friends again, and like everything was great till the DAO hack happened, and then created Ethereum Classic. That's what happens when you introduce controversy, money, power, or other things. When things go a little bit more nuanced, suddenly people have to have an opinion, and then all those implicit understandings of where everybody thought that they were on the same side, they're not, and they start skewing a little bit. Great ecosystems can work their way through it. Great ecosystems find ways to overcome. Bad ecosystems, they just become self-destructive and they spiral into death. And so far, the overwhelming majority of people in Cardano ecosystem are still friendly and are communicating with respect, dignity, and that gives me a lot of hope. And I know there's a long way to go and a lot to do, but overall, this is actually better than my experiences in the past with other ecosystems and communities. So that's quite encouraging. I lived through the whole Bitcoin Cash thing, the Ethereum Classic thing. I lived through NXT's collapse. I lived through a lot of stuff in my career in the cryptocurrency space. So I've seen far, far, far worse. But I laugh sometimes when people say some just batshit crazy things, or they hold batshit crazy beliefs. It is what it is.